Hi everyone. Today we're gonna discuss about the documents for project management. So let's start. The first document that we will be seeing would be the gap analysis document. So this document is created to analyze what is our current state and how we gonna reach to a future state. So there are three columns. As you can see, that first is the current state, second is the future state, and then we have gap description. We here we will uh, here we will write that how we're gonna achieve the future state. So current status lead information is housed on individual Excel spreadsheets. So we are having a lead information, but we are having in Excel. That is our current state. Future status lead information is available within a system. So future status, we want that the lead information, that the sales lead information, user information should be within the system, within the IT system, maybe in the database. Then the gap description is need a system to house the lead information. So in the gap description, we have mentioned that we would be needing a system so that we would be putting all the lead information in that. This is how we prepare this document. So next document is sprint schedule document for adaptive approach. Adaptive means agile or the scrum approach. So how we schedule the whole sprint, the number of sprints. So here, as we see that for a project, we have said schedule many sprints, one, two, three, four. So let's see how sprint one has been scheduled. So sprint one would be of 14 days, start date and end date has been mentioned. On the first day, we would be having sprint planning, and in the comments, we would write about what we're gonna do on that day. So on that day would be uh, we would be creating the task and we would be assigning the user story to a particular IT team member. So next task would be sprint development. That would be for 12 days. In this, we would be in this the development team would be creating the features, the testing team would test it, and that's all. After that, we would be having sprint one review in which we would review the features by the managers, product managers, and others. After that, sprint two. So sprint two on the first day would be having sprint two planning, and as well as we would be having the retrospective. So we- on this day, we would be discussing about the user story commitment, task creation, and we would be discussing about any implementation that we're gonna do so that we can improve our performance or anything that we are doing and then that we should not do. So that whole thing would be described in the retrospective. So we'll be mentioning all that in the comments, and similarly we'll be preparing the document. Next is sprints, the schedule document for predictive approach. That means for the waterfall. So in the waterfall, we have tasks. In agile, we have sprints, and in waterfall, we have tasks. So as we here we can see that the tasks are project planning, project design, requirement gathering, development, testing, and others. So this is the Gantt chart. So here we are doing the time blocking. That is the Gantt chart. So inside the project planning, we will be having further subtasks that would be requirement management plan. So estimate duration for that, what is the progress, what is the start date, what is the end date, and we would be um, mentioning the time block or in that particular color. Yeah, so we'll be doing like that for the whole schedule. Next is the RACI metrics. RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So there are various stakeholders and they have different roles and responsibilities. So we should be mentioning that for a particular uh, task or for a particular thing or a particular deliverable, who is responsible, who is accountable, who is consulted and informed. First of all, let's understand what is responsible. Responsible, so responsible means there would be a person who would be having a responsibility to complete that whole task. And most probably there would be only one person so that he cannot blame the other person. So most probably we would be having, for a task there would be only one person that would be responsible. Then we would be having an accountable. So for accountable there would be a person who would be giving the sign off that probably this task has been done completely. So we'll be mentioning accountable. After that, consulted. So there would be stakeholders for from whom we'll be gathering some of the information. So they would be consulted stakeholders for a particular deliverable, and last is informed. There would be stakeholders. We would be so we would have to inform that probably this task has been completed. So we will inform that particular stakeholders. So we would mention all the tasks, and we would be mentioning who is responsible, who is accountable, who is consulted and informed for the stakeholders. That's all about the RISI matrix. After that, stakeholder power interest document. So we there are various stakeholders, and we can understand we cannot give huge amount of time to every stakeholders, but some of the stakeholders we have to give huge amount of time because they have high power. So we have to understand their power interest phenomena for the stakeholders. So let's talk about this stakeholder, that is Frank De Tang. Okay, this stakeholder has very high power, as you can see, and very high interest. So we should give them most amount of time and we should manage them closely as given in this uh, graph or chart, whatever we can understand. After that, the Jeff. Jeff has huge interest, but so Jeff has low interest, as we can say, low interest and high power. As Jeff is high power, so we should keep him satisfied. As probably if he's not okay with whatever in whatever manner we are proceeding with that product or the project, then as he has high power, he can terminate that project or cause major issues in that project. So we should keep him satisfied. After that, let's talk about the Jerry first. Jerry has huge interest but very low power. So we should not give so much time to that, but we would be keeping him informed that particular as he is having a high interest in that project. So we would keep him informed that particular task has been done. After that, Bob Dole. So he has low interest and low power. So we would be giving the lowest time to that stakeholder. And we would monitor him whether he is having huge interest. So sometimes the stakeholder change their interest. Okay. And even their power gets changed. So we will monitor that stakeholders. And this is how we would be documenting the power interest document so that we get to know that how much time we have to spend with each stakeholders and how much efforts we have to make. Next is the risk list and assessment document. In this document, we will be mentioning all our risks, whether it would be a deadline or whether we would need to check our data or uh, we are whether we the scope is creep or whatever. So we will be mentioning all our risks into this document, and we will be mentioning the description. And we will also be mentioning in the description that if if we are if we miss the deadline, then what should happen? If we got that is then what should happen? And then what is the probability for that risk. So if we get that particular thing, if that particular thing happen, what what is the probability for it? Then after that, impact details. What will happen if if we are not able uh, if we are not able to um, if we are not able to resolve that risk, then what would be the impacts and whether it would be high or low. And after that, we have to mention what actions that we would be taking so that we can avoid that risk. After that, this is a change request document. So there are many times where the stakeholders give the change request for a particular requirement. So particular requirement has been deployed, but they want a particular change for their product. So so how we gonna document that change request? So we'll be mentioning the change description. We will be mentioning the reason why we would be needing that change. What would be the impact for that change, and what is the action that we need to perform. After that, we would be mentioning the request status, whether it is been approved or declined or deferred, and who is taking that decision and what is the date of this discussion and approval signature from the sponsor or the stakeholders. Let's discuss about the root cause analysis document. In this document, we're mentioning the issue, what is the root cause for that issue, and the solutions for it. So in the issue, we will be dividing this issue into description, source, and criticality. Description, we will be mentioning the whole issue, whether like the client not aware of the project status. So that is the issue that we are facing. What is the source? Client. Client is saying that I'm not aware of this project status. What is the criticality? Okay, this is a medium issue, medium level issue. Doesn't So we have to mention that whether it will affect the delivery or not. Doesn't affect delivery but damaging to account. Then what is the root cause? Why this issue has happened? Status reports not being issued weekly because of lack of info from project manager. Because of the lack of information, we are not able to tell the status to the clients. What is the likelihood? Yeah, so there's a high likelihood that so because of lack of info from project manager, we have not informed we have not given the reports to the clients. So we have to check with the program office. What is the solution for it? Simplify info required for report so less time consuming for PM to supply. So we would be keeping the report very simplified. So we would be needing very less time and we can give out to the clients. And what is the mitigation? How we gonna resolve this issue? Agree detail level required for the new report with client. And how we gonna test it whether whatever issue that whatever solution that we have uh, put, whether it is solving the issue or not. Check with the client after 4 weeks. So after 1 month, we will check with the clients whether the client is satisfied with the project status or not. So that's all about the documents for a project. Thank you.